What's going on, all you wild slasher enthusiasts? It's your two favorite rascals back here for 31 Days of Horror. I'm Logan Myers, and that's
Andrew Brzezinski, and we're here to talk about 2003's remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Marcus Nispel.
yeah, he's known for the remake of Friday the 13th remake. Me and you saw in the theater
Right.
from 2009. It was awful. One of the worst movies I saw at the theater, and we almost walked out. But anyways, tonight we're talking about a film that came out my senior year of high school. 2003 was such a massive year for horror flicks. I remember just going to the theater all the time. Freddy versus Jason. They had like Jeepers Creepers 2, Wrong Turn with Eliza Dushku, House of a Thousand Corpses, ton of horror movies. It was a great time to be alive, especially in high school and going to the local theater to see some really great slashers. And the Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out that year, one of the best films of that year, in my opinion. Me and my group of friends went to go see it. One of my buddies at the time had a panic attack and had to leave the screening because he was so freaked out. I'll never forget that. And this movie is really, really fantastic across the board. It holds up 20 years later. Just watched it today. And I had a great time with the cast. You see a young Jonathan Tucker, Jessica Biel. And we have Andrew Brzezinski playing Leatherface himself, and really big and menacing and scary looking. I like this mask in this movie. And it's, pretty much the setup of the original film. These kids are out on a road trip or going to a concert. Sets up the rest of the film.
A really young, hip cast for the time. All those actors and actresses. Jessica Biel was really big at the time, obviously. We had Eric Balfour, who was big in the late 90s, early 2000s, with his mustache, tall, dark, and handsome, leading the way. And then we also had Jonathan Tucker. Now he's in everything, really. And obviously we loved him on Kingdom as Jay Kalina. He's really becoming a great actor the more he furthers in his career. We see him really early in this one. And it's pretty much the same kind of setup as the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You have these friends. They're in a van going across Texas. They're going to this concert, and they come across this girl in the road. And, she's freaking out, panicking in the middle of the road. So they stop and let her in, and the shenanigans start from there.
And probably one of the best shots in like horror movies back in the 2000s is the beginning shot where they pick up the girl and she pulls out the fucking gun, whoosh, right through her head, and the camera comes through.
It was the massive hole in the back.
Yeah, the massive hole in her head, and like it zooms out with the glass. I mean, I love that shot. Whoever set up for the effects, they looked really good. It holds up. And then they come across the family, like an old lady and a little kid, and they end up at the house.
We meet up with the sheriff, Arlie Ermey.
Yeah, the Hewitts.
Played by Arlie Ermey. He's got the creepy long eyebrows.
Yeah, the curly ones. I noticed.
And of course, the family, they seem nice at first, but they start, as they get to know him further and get in the house, everything's really creepy. There's dolls, nailed up to the walls. Everything looks really dirty, dingy. There's just by the way it was shot, you can sense that this is a really creepy place. This family is, obviously there's something not right here. The way that this movie shot, it's very dark and does a good job of making it really feel creeped out just by the look of it. And you feel scared. And when you first see Leatherface, when he first comes in, the way he's massive. He's this big guy played by Andrew Brzezinski, like we were talking about. And he's got this skin on his face. He's this massive dude with the chainsaw chasing after everybody. The remake here was pretty effective and, having some good scares like the original.
Yeah, it's a movie that you're on the edge of your seat pretty much throughout the duration of the film. After they come across, like the sheriff, the family, and then meeting up with Thomas Hewitt or Leatherface himself when he kind of shows up. It's just like really intense and scary. Like the way that he runs after them, like it feels like you're in that situation. You're getting chased by Leatherface, really in your face, and it's terrifying at the same time, putting yourself in that situation, what they're coming across. And then you had the final girl herself from Seven Heaven, Jessica Biel. She did
Mrs. Justin Timberlake.
Mrs. Justin Timberlake. She was a big deal back in the day. And she was a pretty good final girl, good scream queen. A few scenes towards the end are a little ridiculous. Like she runs into the room and all the sprinklers turn on, and then she goes in the freezer with a white shirt. Oh, like, come on, we get it.
Yeah, pre-Me Too. This probably wouldn't happen in today's
No, it
society.
would not happen today, but back then they didn't care. But yeah, one by one, just like the original film, they get picked off by Leatherface. And they're trying to survive. Jessica Biel being the final girl, Erin. She's really a badass chick in this, and fighting him off and getting away from Leatherface and leading up until the very end of the film. With that being said, I had a really great time with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003, reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it. Really great ensemble of stars in the early 2000s. Had a great time with it. A lot of great horrific kill scenes. Leatherface is very menacing. Andrew Berninski, a really great actor in this role. I loved, the other side characters and family members that show up along the way. Filmed really great. It's very dark and dingy and in your face and edge of your seat, and it really never lets you go throughout the hour and a half. And it's a movie that I highly recommend checking out during the Halloween season. I think if you guys have seen this, it's time to revisit it or check it out for the first time during Halloween. It's a blast, and a really good year for horror movies as well in 2003. So I'm going to give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for 2003 a 4 out of 5 Andrew Berninski hair pieces.
Comparing this Texas Chainsaw Massacre to the original, obviously nothing's going to touch the original film. It's perfect. Tobe Hooper's classic masterpiece of a horror film. You're never going to touch that. But compared to some of the remakes, like you mentioned, the Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, this one's, in my opinion, the best of that bunch. This one did a good job of capturing the overall feel of the original, and also, obviously making it more modern, using this young cast that were all, coming into their careers at the time in 2003, some future stars here. And it was a blast to watch. And right now it's streaming on HBO Max. So if you guys have a subscription to HBO Max, why don't you log on there and give this another shot? This was my first rewatch in many years, and I had a really fun time with it. I am going to give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003 a 4 out of 5 Leatherface hair pieces.
So we're interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on this film. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What's your favorite film of back in the 2003? There's a lot of great ones out there. Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Subscribe, folks, and join along with us for all the shenanigans and the 31 days of horror here at Cinephellas. We love covering horror movies with you guys. We will have plenty of more video reviews for some great horror movies that we remember from our childhood growing up. Some of the ones that are very memorable to us, and we will be back to review many more in this wonderful month of October for the 31 Days of Horror. So stay tuned.
And stay scared.
Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, our website, Cinephellas.com, throughout the entire month of October, because we're getting a little too wild on school nights. But we love talking new and old horror flicks and TV shows, and we'll be talking about that all month long.
Well, this has been another 31 Days of Horror video review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. I'm everybody's favorite heartthrob, Eric Balfour.
Hey, and I'm Mike Vogel.
Good night, Mike. Stay scared. Cheers!